Good morning, children. Welcome to our next class. In last class, you learned about male and female parts of a flower and what's the meaning of fertilization, what changes occurs in ovary after fertilization, and which parts are changing into fruit and the seeds you learned, right? So, fusion of male and female gametes in flowers known as fertilization, and in fertilization after the ovary changes into fruit and ovules change into seeds. Now we will see the parts of seed. After the seed formation, then when we sow these seeds in soil, they'll germinate and give baby plants or saplings. This well-known story for you all. Now what actually helping to germinate and which parts arise first and then which parts comes out, we'll see now. So this is a part of seed. When you are observing these parts, you imagine a groundnut, one groundnut seed you take and remove the parts when you are learning. Suppose the pot is in black color, which is in black color, that's known as seed coat. In groundnut seed, the outside brownish color coat will be, that's known as seed coat. So you do the activity along with the learning. The outer coat, the brown part in a coconut seed you remove, and inside the green color part, light green color, is shown as food storage. That means stored food. It's also called as cotyledon. Cotyledon. Cotyledon means the stored food. In the seed, whatever the stored food is there, that's known as cotyledon. So in groundnut, the white color parts are known as cotyledons. So how many cotyledons are there in groundnut? 2 cotyledons, right? In rice, how many cotyledons will be? Single cotyledon. You cannot open into 2 parts in a groundnut. Sorry, you can open 2 parts in the groundnut, whereas in rice we cannot open into 2 parts. So rice belongs to the monocot and the groundnut belongs to the dicot. And peas and so many other seeds, wherever you are able to see 2 cotyledons, they all comes under the dicotyledons. And wheat, bajra and mustard seeds, these all can't be opened into 2 parts. So they belongs to monocots. And cotyledon, the other function of cotyledon is supplying food for growing embryo. So where the embryo is present? In a groundnut, between the 2 white parts, between the 2 cotyledons, in middle a small white color part is present, that's known as embryo. So for this embryo, both the cotyledons will supply the food. In the same way, in monocots also embryo is present. So this cotyledon supplies the food for growing embryo. And then first a radicle starts growing. From the radicle, the root system develops. Whenever we are sowing any seed, first the root system gets developed. From where the roots are growing? From the radicle. From the embryo, first a radicle is developed. So from the radicle, the root system develops. And then plumule. After the radicle, plumule comes out. That means from the plumule, the shoot system develops. That means 2 leaves arises and then 4 leaves, like that. The part which is above the ground known as shoot system, the part which is below the ground known as root system. So the root system develops from radicle, the shoot system develops from plumule. So this from the embryo, the radicle and the plumule are getting developed. So first radicle grows and then plumule grows. So these two cotyledons are supplying food for growing embryo. So this is the parts of part. So now you learnt about the different parts of a seed and the parts of monocots and parts of dicots and how the embryo is growing. This all you learnt, children. And now we'll learn about seed dispersal means. Dispersing means spreading out. The seeds are spreading out from the parent plant to the different areas. That is done by wind, animals, water, and sometimes naturally seed dispersal can be done. Dispersal is nothing but scattering of the seeds is known as dispersal, seed dispersal. Suppose if seed dispersal has not taken place, then what happens? All the seeds might have fallen near to the parent plant. Then definitely problem occurs. All the seeds germinate at same area and they may get competition for light, space and food. For all these, the seeds or the saplings get competition and most of the saplings withers away and they cannot germinate into new plants. So the seed dispersal is an important function in plants. They have to disperse to the different areas. Then there is a scope for these species can grow in different areas. That is occurring naturally. So how the seeds get dispersed by wind we will see now. The seeds, maple seeds, these are maple seed which have a wing-like structures, very light in weight, and these are drumstick seeds. You are very familiar with the drumstick seeds. So the drumstick seeds are having papery-like wings. So these papery-like wings and the seeds are very light in weight. Due to this, when wind blows, easily they can fly along with the wind and fall in different areas so that the new saplings, new drumstick plants can grow in those areas. New maple plants can grow in different areas. So in that way, they are trying to maintain their species on earth. Every organism undergoes for the reproduction process because they want to make their species to alive. That's what happening because of the dispersal process. So examples for wind dispersal, drumstick seeds and maple seeds. Why only these seeds are able to disperse by wind? Because they have papery type wings and they are light in weight. That's the reason they are able to disperse by wind. And even dandelion seeds. Dandelion seeds can also disperse by wind because of the lightweight hair-like structures which flies away easily with the help of wind. And the cotton seeds are well known for everybody. These seeds are also light in weight and they puffy-like structures above this. This puff structures helps to fly away with wind. Next, these are the mother flowers. Inside the mother flowers, the seeds which are in lightweight and can fly with wind. So they disperse, these all the different seeds are dispersing with the help of wind and falling in different areas, germinating and giving rise to their new plants. And these seeds are dispersing by the water. So the plants which are growing in water are near to the water sources, mainly disperse by water, because the source wherever they are growing, the source only make them to disperse in such way. So nature itself making all these things possible. So these plants, these seeds are lotus seeds. You learnt about the features of lotus before. It has air cavities, waxy coating on the leaf, and that's why they can float. Their leaves will be on the water and they'll not get wet due to the waxy coating. And these seeds can disperse by water because they are living inside in the water. And one more, coconut plant. Coconut trees also grow near the seashores. So, and this fibrous, the fibrous which is above the coconut makes it possible to move along with water. The hair-like fibrous which is present above the coconut makes it possible to flow along with water. So along with water they'll flow, and some area where they are the conditions and the soil is favorable for them, there they get stuck up and they started giving rise to the new plants. So the lotus, coconut are some examples for water dispersal. And these seeds are, some seeds are getting dispersed by animals. How the animals are helping for dispersion process means, you all know the birds. Most of the birds eat fruits. So when they are eating, some seeds may fall down, and by holding in their beak, they'll fly to the different areas and they can drop those seeds in different areas, so that the seeds are getting dispersed in various places. And the same way, some animals, wild animals, whatever the food item they are eating, meanwhile while carrying or while eating, the seeds may drop down. So that dispersion is taking place. And the seeds which are dispersing by animals should have some thorns or hooks or spurs on their seed coat. Due to that, they are dispersing by wind. For example, if you see this dog, and dog's hair, the animals which have hair on their body, those animals are capable, mostly those type of animals are capable for dispersion. So this dog, when you see, burdock seeds are stuck up in hairs of this dog because they have spine-like structures. When the dog moves in near this plant, they may stuck to their hair. The spurs will stuck to the hair of body. When this animal moves to the other places, the seeds may fall down and get germinated. And the another animal, the little cute squirrel, it collects the different types of fruits, different nuts, and it will dig a hole in soil and it hide inside that. Its intention is it can use it later. So for future purpose, it will dig a hole and hide all the nuts and fruits inside. And then it cannot remember where it kept the grains, his food grains, where it has kept safely. It may not recognize or it may not remember. So in such case, these grains again starts growing into new plants. So in this way, the different animals are helping for different seed dispersal process. Based on the type of seed, they are helping for the dispersion process. So that in different areas, we are getting the different plants. Continuously they are growing and giving us fruits and the vegetables are different nuts, everything. And when you come to the next slide, this is by self-dispersal. Self-dispersal or by explosion. Explosion means when you see the lady finger, when it dries up and when the seeds are ready, healthy for germination process, then it get burst out itself by itself. No external force is acting on them. So they themselves get bursted out and they spreads the seeds around them. That's called as explosion. This type of explosion can also be seen in peas and many other vegetables, many other fruits also can disperse by explosion method. So you find out some more plants which can explode, which are going for self dispersal process. Disperse or can explosion by explosion process which seeds are dispersing. You find out some more and some other animals also you find out which animals are helping in dispersion process and which some other seeds apart from this. I gave few examples. You find out some more examples which can disperse by water and some more examples for which can disperse by wind like this, and draw the diagram of parts of a seed and nicely label it. So this is your today's homework, children. So in today's class you learned about the parts of seed, monocots, dicot differences you learned, and what's the meaning of seed dispersal you learned, and what are the dispersing agents which are helping for seed dispersal are known as dispersing agents you learnt, like wind, water, animals, self-explosion. These all are known as dispersal agents. So what are the different dispersing agents you learnt? So how the wood seeds are dispersing by wind, what characters are compulsory for the wind dispersion, and which seeds are dispersing by wind you learnt, and what characters the plants which are dispersing by water should have, and some examples you had seen, and what characters the seeds which are dispersing by animals should have. This all you learnt in today's class, children. So your homework is you collect some more seeds which can disperse by explosion process, by animals, by water and by wind, and also draw the diagram of parts of a seed.